Hello, hello. Alrighty. Let's see. Today we're going to talk about watching other people fail. Well, not exactly. We're going to talk about how we can learn from other people failing. Hello, hello. If anybody has any ideas or suggestions of videos or a particular fight they want to watch, I'm happy to pull something up and go through it. But let's see. It's not showing everything that it should be. Just a moment. There we go. All right. It's all displaying as it should now. Anyway, I have a few fights for us to look at today. From people you might know, one from Indigo, one from Arnold, and one from Zareth. They're all fights from the current meta. I think one is, yeah, they're all from this season of 5v5, the last week. So let's talk a little bit about the theory, or how we're going to start looking or analyzing them before we start looking at them. Any questions as we go through is great as well. So for each of the fights, as I look through them, I go through and ask myself these three questions. Essentially, as we're going through them, like what am I expecting? What could have been better? What could have been improved? And then what can I actually do differently in my own fights? Because ultimately, while I do look at a lot of fights for Grand Arena Science and the counters there, I'm trying to improve my own gameplay as well. That's how I started this whole thing a long time ago. This is the most important part. If I'm going to be able to analyze a fight well, I need to understand what's happening. I need to know what character abilities are in play, what uniques, what leadership, the opponent's team, your team, or whatever the guy who's playing's team. So this is something I always check first. Doesn't mean I have to know these questions or the answers to these questions before. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? Hey, freak. Doesn't mean I need to know these before I actually watch the fight. And there's a lot of fights that I watch and I don't know the answers. But depending on how the fight goes, then I'll look for more information. So this is the first thing I always ask myself. Leadership abilities, uniques, interactions for particular speeds, turn order. What should happen? This is really the most important part, really. What do I expect at the beginning of the fight? When I'm watching fights, I'm only showing fights in this case that I'm not sure of the outcome, or I'm not gonna expect a certain something to happen, because there's a lot of choices to make, or it's complicated, or it's unlikely to succeed, or whatever the case may be. So in this case, let's look at this first fight here. This is Indigo, just from a couple days ago. Yesterday is when he posted it. It's from round 2, I think. Yeah, round 2. So it's Jango versus Darth Revan. You only try this fight if you're faster, so already I expect him to go first. The uniques that are important are primarily Sith Marauder, because he will take turns as Grief and Bosk use their mass assist abilities. And Darth Malak, if he gets crit, he'll fear somebody. Not necessarily free. The Kyber show videos, I actually look for something that is way out of the ordinary or very unexpected. These are more things that I think most people, well, I don't know most people, but a lot of people will encounter these fights and they should go a certain way. Like, as long as you're faster for the Bounty Hunters team, for instance, and your relics are approximately the same, you should win. very difficult to lose unless you make a poor choice. Where the Kyber show was more of explaining to the audience every little step of the process, explain which unique, blah, blah, blah. For me, for me, going through these videos, and for me to learn, really, ultimately the thing that I'm looking for here is to learn something for myself in future fights of my own, is the things that I shouldn't do, more or less. Like if somebody else fails, what should I not repeat? Or if they do something that I've never seen before, how can I do that again myself? Or like, how can I learn from that? Which is different than trying to point out every little small thing. It's similar for sure. So for this fight, I'm aware of the uniques, the leadership ability, the general turn order. That's basically what I'm looking for. So let's watch the fight here. Yeah, Bosk is first, then Grief. By the way, I'm fast forwarding through this by 5 seconds. I'm not going to watch everything. The first target is Beskar Fallen. That's perfect. Depending on how confident you are at the comparative relic levels and health and protection values, like a lot of people do a really beefy Beskar Fallen because of this type of counter. You may want to go for Sith Marauder first, because he gains turn order every time somebody takes an out of turn move. So he gains 100% turn order from 4 characters going. He gains 80% from 4 characters using an ability out of turn. Anyway, he goes for Beskar. She's dead. Perfect. That's great. That's the most dangerous character. Now what's he going to do next? He can call insist on somebody. Okay, he waits a little bit. He goes for Marauder. Perfect. Marauder hits Bosk. Now, this 100% should be an execute on Sith Marauder. There's no question. Definitely, here is first misplay. There's no way. Let's back up a second. First of all, Darth Revan doesn't have any frenzy on him, which increases his incoming damage. That's another unique you should be aware of. Or if you're not, I mean, this is a good point to look it up. And it has 2 buffs. So Bosk will eat any buffs and debuffs equally and gain more damage. But there's no way that a Bosk is going to kill, yeah, look, 85,000. No, all it's going to do is equalize with somebody. Darth Revan will equalize with somebody. Worst case scenario, Malak. And you could have killed, maybe, Marauder in this case. At the very least, you're not going to chance Darth Revan equalizing with Darth Malak and causing a taunt. So let's see what actually happens. He equalized with, oh, interesting. He didn't actually even go below 50% health, so he didn't equalize. That's a lucky turn. You should definitely not hit him with a basic now. Go back to Marauder. This should go on Marauder. No, you're not going to kill. Oh, okay, he killed him, and he equalized, or he crit. Let's see, did he crit somebody? He probably... Yeah, he crit Malak. So he triggered Malak's unique and caused him to taunt and gain a bonus turn because he went below the 70% health. It's 70, 50, 30, I think. Or 80, 50, 30, I don't recall. Anyway, this is a risk. It's like 33% chance he's going to hit Malak and crit him. So Malak goes for Bosk. And he's not taunting though, luckily. No contract yet. No Grief can heal everybody up. HK can almost kill Jango. Another taunt, but it doesn't really make a difference. And Jango's gone now because there was death mark on him. Okay, and here, yeah, a horrible mistake. This is mistake number 2, going to cost him more banners. So, no contract yet. Boba has a chance to double tap on his basic. I think if there's a debuff on the enemy target, he'll be guaranteed double tap. I don't recall. I'm not going to look it up. I would look it up if it was Kyber show, but not for this. So he's going to use an AoE and almost certainly have a good chance to crit Malak and cause another taunt when he should be going for a contract. Yep, well, he crit, he feared himself, and he caused Malak to taunt. That's terrible. Do not use the mass assist because you want to get Mandalorian to his disintegrate as soon as possible. That's how you're going to win. You have to disintegrate Malak. So if you use a mass assist and call the Mandalorian to assist, he's likely to crit and fear. Huh, look at that. He feared, and then immediately he took another turn to lose the fear. We lost Bosk. When I was watching the fight this time, I was like, the fight's over. There's no way he's going to win. However, he got lucky and not so lucky now. So he can go for an execute on Marauder. Yeah, perfect. See how much different it makes when you have 5 stacks of Frenzy? It's like, I think 10% more damage per stack or 15% more. So there he goes, execute. He should not hit, yeah, exactly. Call somebody to assist anybody, doesn't matter. He's gonna get crit chance up so he can use his. Okay, now here's Grief. In this case, actually, I would have used Grief's Mass Assist to kill HK. Because you get a lot of buffs afterwards. Anyway, no more AoE, well, another AoE, more fear, fantastic. Okay, so fight's over. But there's like 3 or 4 mistakes in here that could have saved at least 3 or 4 banners, but you still won. So this goes back to the second question, like in this particular fight. By the way, nothing against Indigo. I make plenty of mistakes myself, and it's always easier to look after the fact and to see what somebody, just call it BH, which is DR. Not trying to call it Indigo or anybody else. Like, everybody makes mistakes. Indigo's a good player. No, nothing against him. It's always easier to call it afterwards when you're when you're comparing after the fact. Cheers, by the way. So the main mistakes here. Don't go for DR too early. Wait for Frenzy. For additional damage. And then 2, no AoE from Boba, Cosmetic to taunt, and Boba to be feared. 3, same as 2. Not huge mistakes, but definitely ones that could have saved banners. Yeah, very true, Free. And especially in this case, like, this is not an easy counter, Jango versus DR. It's very likely you'll lose somebody. But it's basic stuff like not going for DR at the beginning is not a basic thing. Like, I can certainly understand if DR had Frenzy, he'd be dead. But that's a mistake that I think many people, not a mistake, it's a choice that many people would make that may not work out. And it's easier to see after the fact. But definitely the AoEs from Boba are just a plain mistake. There's no reason to do that. It's not going to get you any benefit, really. The chance of it giving you a benefit is very, very low. And the best and most important thing in any GAC match is to remove any RNG. That's key. Let's take a look at the next one here. This is Arnold with his favorite. No, he does not like Beskar Mandalorian. Let's see how this fight goes. So he goes first, obviously. Quill is going to use his turn meter for everybody move. Fantastic. Now Beskar Mando goes into his Whistling Bird stance. So at the beginning of this fight here, the team setup doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Cara Dune in here will do nothing. When Padme is on the team, on any team, you cannot reduce their turn meter. So all Cara Dune here is doing some AoE damage. It would be much better to use like Veteran Smuggler Han or something for the AoE ability block, or Kira for an AoE stagger. Although, no, you wouldn't get anything from that either. The turn meter of Padme teams cannot be manipulated. But for Kira with the with her unique, if you have it Omega, it's not even a Zeta. Bonus damage to scoundrel allies. She doesn't have to be a leader. So anyway, Kara doesn't make a lot of sense. Bo-Katan for the Dispel is definitely good. But Kara is a weird choice. Okay, AoEs, blah, blah, blah. Now Mando has 20 Whistling Birds. He's going to go for Anakin, of course. Makes sense. Should probably kill him easily, I would imagine. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. And now Fast forwarding, really nothing until Mando can do either damage immunity. The important character at this point is Bo-Katan with her Dispel coming up. So the goal is to do damage to everybody across the table so that regain protection and health and stuff. But it's to do damage to everybody so they don't build up protection stacks. Okay, more turn meter. In this case, I would 100% have done an AoE, not from Quill, but from Kara. She's under stealth, so she cannot be countered. There's a protection stack on Padme and GK both. Do an AoE. Reduce their health. That's all Kara can do. She cannot touch their turn meter, so do an AoE there. Whatever, basic, not a big deal. Basic, sure, whatever. Okay, here is mistake number 1. So let's look at the turn meter order. Padme's about to go, and I think it's time for her kick to your face move. And she doesn't do kick to your face, she'll get protection up to Ahsoka, who will then have more than 5 stacks of courage and will do bonus damage. In this case, I would 100% go for the invulnerability move on Quill, probably. Quill or Bo, but I imagine Quill, you want to keep him alive. It makes no sense to go into Whistling Birds. Who's going to take a turn on the scoundrel side? They're all at like sub 20% except Quill. So this is the first thing that I would have done differently. See what happens. So he goes into Whistling Bird stance, and because he got targeted, did she do her jump in your face move? I don't remember if I was right or not about that. Yeah, she did jump your face into Beskar Mandalorian, so he immediately takes a turn because he drops below 60% health and triggers his bonus turn, and his Whistling Birds is 100% wasted. He could be under invulnerability if he had chosen differently. 5 stacks does nothing. And the fight is sort of over from here. Let's see how it goes. And fast forwarding, there's not a lot to see. So here's one little, let's see, who's the last debuff? Nah, that's gonna make a difference. 7 stacks, oof. Yeah, 15 stacks of courage now. It's about to delete somebody, General Kenobi. 18 stacks on Ahsoka. Yeah, the fight is essentially over, just that one move. Not using invulnerability. 16 stacks on Varys. There's not much to do at this point. Because with invulnerability you can eat up all of the stacks of courage without taking any damage. So you're going to go into invulnerability now? No, see, unfortunately a lot of people, I won't say just Arnold, but a lot of people don't use Beskar Mandalorian very well. They use him for damage as opposed to using him as an outlast team, which is what he's all about. Yeah, the fight's over. I wouldn't be surprised, Free. I didn't watch his whole video, so I'm not sure what he did at the end. But I think this match he did lose. He lost a fleet battle too. Anyway, it's unfortunate. Beskar Mandalorian is an awesome character. He's great. Like, he's one of the best counters you have to CLS, to GG, especially with Bo-Katan in there. But a lot of people try and use him as a DPS. Well, you can see here, he's just trying to use him as a DPS character, which is not what his team's about. He's a sustain and burst sort of setup. He doesn't look very happy, Arnold. That's entertaining, though. Anyway, you can see just the one little mistake sort of cascaded and cost him the match here. Let's go on to our last match from Zareth. This is Troopers with Dark Trooper versus a Darth Revan team. Let's go to my notes real quick. What would I have done differently? This is just personally, when I watch fights, regardless of what I'm doing for Grand Arena Science, I take notes on maybe one fight out of 50 or something, one out of 30 to 50, something like that. Fights like, actually this Dark Trooper fight, And the bounty hunter fight earlier was a good example. Like, I take a little note in my GAC tracker spreadsheet. Just says no AoE on Boba. Like, it's a simple thing, but it's an easy mistake to make too. Like, anybody can make that sort of mistake when they're going through a match. Just this last round, actually, round 3, I lost personally. I killed everything in one shot, but I made a terrible mistake versus a DR team with my Jedi Knight Revan. And I did an AoE and triggered Malik's taunt, like exactly the same thing that Indigo did with Boba. It's an easy mistake, and it cost me like 7 banners, and I lost the fight by a few banners. So, but it's that sort of thing where small choices make a big mistakes. And I had this thing like, be careful of AoEs from Boba, but I didn't think of it with with GMY. It was stupid. Keep notes. Keep notes for yourself. I don't know if I should put more varies or more bold. Let's take a look at this last fight here. So this is actually, I would say, a more difficult fight, or a less known fight, than the Bounty Hunters versus Darth Revan. I wasn't sure how this would turn out when I watched it, honestly. I've done this fight a few times myself. Yeah, Free, it's very true. The planning ahead of time is critical for the Beskar Mando fights. And it's easy to misplay. I mean, it's sort of like I consider those fights a puzzle in a way. If you put the puzzle together at the right time, it's going to win 95% of the time, a high majority of time. But if you don't do them correctly, the team doesn't have a lot of like additional methods to win. You're dependent almost purely on Beskar Mando's damage. That's how you kill things. So if you're facing a team that requires a lot of damage, you have to have Whistling Birds timed correctly with the opening salvo. Outlast for a while until you can set up a good salvo again. But it's not like you have another character to do a bunch of damage like Bounty Hunters or Troopers or Jedi Knight Revan or something like that. It is sort of a one-trick pony type of team. And you have to know how to ride that pony, I guess. Anyway, let's take a look at this fight. So, Imperial Ambition should go on Dark Trooper. Yep, that's an easy one. Yep, give everybody buffs and turn meter. The nice thing about Darth Revan here is he doesn't stop any turn meter. So you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. And here I would absolutely give Retribution to everybody and not a basic. You definitely want Retribution. For HK's AoE, and if somehow you don't kill Darth Revan and he... Anyway, you want Retribution. You don't want to... Oh, something happened to my stream? No, that's fine. Anyway, you want Retribution and the turn meter from buffs. Okay, Dark Trooper going to town. No, you do not want to use an AoE here. You're going to trigger a taunt from Malik, which you did. Luckily, the AoE from Piet does not dispel, but it's probably better to use... Not even now. I would have used the basic from Piet because it would have called Dark Trooper to assist twice. Dark Trooper does not have the ability to crit on his attacks unless he has advantage, and he does not have advantage. So I would have done the basic from Piet there. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Anyway, Dark Trooper deletes people. It's possible that he could have deleted Darth Malik here because 2 basics before Darth Malik took a turn. Let's see what happens. Stagger. Oh, nice. Didn't hear the chance, really. Anyway, this worked out pretty well. Here, I would again use his Retribution move to give turn meter. Yeah, replay would be awesome, Simon. That'd be amazing. Honestly, that's why I started watching GAC videos. And I record some of mine occasionally, but honestly, it's I do my GACs very intermittently. Like I don't have time to sit down and do them all at once, except, well, maybe every other GAC I'll do them all at once. Yeah, that's an awesome choice, Pikecracker. I should record more of mine, for sure. But replay would be amazing. Luckily, we have the GAC stats on GG. That's very helpful. Oh man, I would love to watch teams on defense. So let's see what he does. Yeah, it's just a basic on Beskar here. This one I don't understand. I understand their turn meter is a bit low, but you get 30% turn meter. Let me check. I don't remember how much you get years when somebody dies. 50% turn meter when somebody dies. So I really don't understand this AoE move that he's about to do, if he does an AoE move. Let's see. It does nothing except give him offense up, which he already has. So it's strange. He has 4 stacks. He can't get any more stacks. I think he's talking about the same thing. It's got to be a basic. Yeah. Okay, so fear goes on everybody, and Bastila takes a turn. Now, if you think back a moment ago, what would have happened here if he had not used the AoE on Malik and gone for the basics on Malik? And if he would have used well, that's actually wouldn't have made a difference, but Retribution certainly would have made a difference on giving everybody more turn meter. So he might have been able to take another turn from Stark. If you see Stark here is like 85%, 90% turn meter. So it's possible Stark would have been able to go before Revan and Bastila and killed her, because she's really the main problem in this team. Her and Marauder. Marauder is less of a problem with Dark Trooper around, because the way that you'll put Mark on Dark Trooper, and even if Marauder doesn't his big hit on Dark Trooper and kills him, Dark Trooper still has 3 stacks and does a crap load of damage. So in a way, Dark Trooper sort of neutered Sith Marauder's danger against the Trooper teams in particular. It's really nice. So oftentimes, usually you should go for Bastila first, rather than Marauder. Anyway, at this point, it's sort of, yikes, veers down. This AoE from Darth Revan now, had everybody had Retribution? No, all the buffs are gone anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. So here we go. And look at that. Even with 3 stacks. Okay, so we answered our question that we weren't able to figure out earlier. If he had used a basic from Piet at the beginning of the fight against Darth Malik, when Dark Trooper had 4 stacks, here he has 3 stacks and no buffs. Earlier I had 4 stacks and buffs. He would have deleted Darth Malik. I don't know what relic level his Dark Trooper is. I'm guessing probably 7 or 6 or 8 or something like that. But the fact that he does so much damage and he doesn't crit is just, he's made to take out Darth Malik. It's awesome. So, unfortunately, because he wasn't able to kill Bastila Fallen, we see what happens right here. She goes for her AoE. It's so awesome to see Darth Malik get deleted like that. And then, ooh. Yeah, well, he's enjoying it at least. That's that. So in this fight, I didn't cover the Beskar Mando fight, but that's okay. So target selection is critical. Fallen Bastila is first, extremely important. Yeah, look at that move. 100,000 damage. Yikes. Very, very painful. Oh yeah, and as you may have noticed, for those who are watching, as I put in the title, that's all the fights I was going to analyze for the Q&A today. As I put in the title, I'm thinking of doing something like this on a weekly basis, maybe. Like choose one fight, make a little 5-minute video. Really not trying to redo the Kyber show. That's way more analysis. It took a lot of prep from my time as well. But just to take a look at one fight that could be a win or a loss, or whatever, but it's an easy thing not to do, and a common fight is sort of what I'd be looking for. They're like, hey, remember not to do this. Yeah, I would imagine at the very least I would have a, yeah, well, honestly, Simon, I may do something like this, a text pad thing next to the video. So in the 5-minute video, you'll see a selection of notes there. I'm trying to reduce the amount of time I need to spend on it because I'm not a graphical guy. It takes me a long time to do the JPEGs. And if I do this like on a weekly basis, it'd more be to provide the information, but not necessarily make it super pretty. Do you have some ideas on what would be helpful? In terms of the graphic, I mean, or anything else really. So Marauders less dangerous due to just loses stacks versus being totally killed. Alrighty. That's about all I had planned for today, to be honest. Any further questions, ideas, feedback, comments, anything? Darth seems to be having a great time though. And again, nothing against any of these creators. I appreciate the fact that they post their videos. Everybody makes mistakes. Or not even mistakes, just like does a... I'm sure that most of them, when they went back and thought about it again, would have done something differently. That's an interesting idea, Simon. Series uncommon matchups, full team stats and gear. The hard part is sort of doing that live. It could definitely be something where I offer some, I put up like the stats and the teams in Discord, and then once a week or something like that, I go over the actual fight and who is going to win. But the sort of difficult part of that as well is that in mini fights that are uncommon, it could be won by either team. In the end, it comes down a lot to how the actual players make their choices. And all of the creators do things differently. Yeah. And actually, so here, for the people that are watching, I've been thinking a little bit, just for my own personal interest, honestly, I don't do YouTube, just to be clear for anybody, I don't do YouTube to try and gain engagement. What I'm focused on is the website. But I do want stuff that's on YouTube to be interesting to people and most importantly helpful. Like what can they learn? Or if they find a creator they like, they can go watch that creator. I'm never gonna stream my GAC videos or something. But an idea I had was sort of like the Kyber show, but live. Like getting a couple of other people, or one other person maybe. Or I guess I could do it myself, but that's not nearly as fun. I really like a couple more people. Like some of the Discord chats we've been having recently on the weekend. Those are awesome chats. Anyway, a live YouTube show here, or live stream, that watches another content creator. Could be a big creator like Cubs or Arnold or Zareth or whoever, that watches them live and comments on their fights. ultimately, it would be better if there was a few creators like streaming at the same time, so we can switch from one to the other as somebody's taking a break. Logistically, it'd be a bit complicated to have everything set up, but I think it wouldn't be that bad. It would more be finding a good time and some good commentators or people to talk about it with, but go over their fights live and sort of like anyway, a sports show for people in the US, or not even in the US. If you watch us football, American football or the rest of the world football, comments on how the fight is going, probably without the yelling, or to find a commentator who liked yelling. But I think it'd be interesting to sort of provide a play-by-play commentary on the fights. Yeah, the main problem, Free, is actually more of a I'd have to record it and stream it at the same time and then repost it. Logistically, it's annoying. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'd be happy to do collab with a bunch of people. I'm not necessarily sure if I want to do it through Grand Arena Science. Like, I like I don't know, I've been doing a show with Fatal, the Kyber Council, for like 6 months or something that I really enjoyed. And I did the Kyber show with Skelterix for, again, like 6 months. That was awesome. I prefer finding some other creator and working with them, because I don't really consider myself a content creator as much as a tool creator, maybe. I create some content, but I'm not I don't know, I don't really have the time to spend live streaming every other day or something like that. But yeah, I love working with other people in the community. That's the main reason I'm honestly playing this game, is the community and GAC. Okay, that's true. Yes, Free, you're right. It's just in some ways more annoying to download the VOD and edit it than have a copy that you can locally edit and change. It just adds another step. But yes, you can download the VOD for sure. You're right. You're right. But I know the guys at Nev and Storm and Norman, whatever, the guys on the GAC Escape Pod cast. I'm sure I could get a schedule of all the streamers from them and find some overlapping schedules. Anyway, I've just been thinking about that a little bit. It would be, I think, interesting to do a live review of streamers as they're streaming their GACs. I know some streamers are not, well, most are pretty good about it. But anyway, in general, people don't like when other people comment on their poor choices or choices that they would have done differently. But in general, most streamers are okay with it. I'm not trying to annoy anybody, but I think it's interesting for viewers to see another side of things, especially if it's somebody who has comments on how things could be done differently or better. No, that's true. Yeah, that's. I'll message you afterwards, Free. I don't know about a lot of those features from Twitch. Would be interesting. I'd definitely like to try something like that. Yeah, something to work on. Again, the main function being to provide some feedback for people that would be helpful. That's my main goal, is to entertainment is important, obviously. You're not going to watch something if you don't find it interesting, but yeah, that's a good point for it. Oh man, you would be super interesting to comment on stuff with. I can imagine. Oh, that'd be great. All right, thanks, Simon. See you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that would, I can imagine for the way I'm thinking of it though, like I would like I'm thinking of it as I'm talking now. Oh no, I want to comment on something with you, Mort. You're very entertaining. I mean, like you have a good repartee during the stream. That would be the important part, I think, to keep up a good conversation between the commentators and then provide accurate feedback of what's actually happening. But it could like be two people, you know. Obviously some people are better at the discourse and some people are more like the analyzers. Because right now I don't think the problem is more of scheduling. It's hard to find because not a lot of people stream. Oh, no, a lot of people stream at scheduled times, but to find a time where you could watch a few streams at once, honestly, that's the biggest issue because it would have to be live, I think, to make it worthwhile. To like watch 3 streams at once or something like that over an hour period, once a week maybe. Anytime there's 3 people streaming, probably some popular ones just to get more viewers, but oh, Mort, I want you to be on a stream criticizing other people. No, I know you stream yours. Yeah, this time, but on Fridays. Yeah, a lot of people do on Friday nights. Oh, could be interesting, maybe. Because I'm changing time zones soon as well. Right now I'm in Europe, so most of the US streamers are just when I'm sleeping. But I will be in a more convenient time zone in about 10 days or something. No problem for it. I think it would be fascinating to do what I was saying earlier is I would love to do an analysis of other streamers, but with another commentator. Or 2 commentators or 3 commentators. I don't know. I'm not picky. But talking about other streamers and providing some feedback on what choices they could do differently, better, whatever. Just an interesting, different perspective. Because I think there's a number of people who watch GAC streams to learn, and I mean, I think the majority watch them because they like a streamer or want to be entertained. But there's a number of people who also want to learn about different fights or how to do things, especially with all the new players in the game these days. So I think there's a bit of an audience for commentary. Interesting though, I'm developing the idea more in the last 10 minutes than I have in the last 2 weeks. I could even get Skelterix to like do the transitions and the intro, and he's really good at that stuff. I like his style a lot. Huh. Interesting, interesting. I think I'm about done with my content here. And most of this part I'll probably chop off when I put it to YouTube afterwards, or it's on YouTube, but when I post it or edit it afterwards, I'll probably chop off this end bit. It'll definitely help free. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, gentlemen's or ladies, if there's any ladies in the chats as well. Any other comments, questions, feedback, etc. before I end for the evening? My evening, I know it's the middle of the day for most of the US. Okay, Fort, you know what? I will definitely contact you. This week I will contact you in the next day or 2. I need to develop a little bit of, I don't know, concept around what it is a little bit more, but I will absolutely reach out to you. Do I know how to reach out to you? Yeah, I can send you a message in game or something like that. Currently, I'm in France, but in like 10 days-ish, I'm going to be moving to a nearby time zone to Australia. Okay, cool. That's good to know, Simon. Yeah, I would guess similar to chess tournaments, but I don't know. I guess on Twitch, I've seen the different chess stuff in the last 6 months or so they've been doing on Twitch, and they do a good job there. I watch a decent amount of stuff on Twitch, but just for GAC, like most of the streamers are not when I'm awake. But good to know, Simon. That's cool. Hey, Leah. Yeah, we're talking about I don't know, once a week or something like that. Like a comment. I need to find some time where people are actually streaming actively. A few people, and myself and one or two other people. I think Mort volunteered himself without being aware of it. To review the streamers as they're streaming GAC and providing some commentary. Like, oh my God, can you believe he didn't use a basic on Darth Malak? Well, he'll learn next. I don't know. We can something like that, but provide a technical analysis of what's happening and a less technical and more entertaining analysis at the same time. I think that's why you need a few different people. I'm certainly not on the exciting, entertaining part, but I know the technical bits pretty well. But I think it would be interesting, and there's a decent enough audience, potentially, depending on the times, obviously. And who doesn't want to talk shit about the big streamers either? It's going to be super enjoyable. Drama drives views. It's awesome. Yeah, I like this idea a lot. Just a minute, let me take some notes for myself before that. Yep. Let's see how this works. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, cool. That's a fun idea. Alrighty, gentlemen and gentle ladies, or lady, I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for your time and attention and idea generation. That's a cool idea that's coming together in my head. It'll be fun, especially once I change time zones. I hope everybody enjoyed the Echo Kit. And yeah, have a great day, great evening. It's like 10 o'clock for me now, so it's close to my bedtime. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later on in different formats. And thanks for showing up. Cheers.